I'm Malcolm Reed, and today I'm going to show you how I do an apricot and apple double smoked glazed ham. What we're going to do with this ham today is we're going to get it out on the smoker on top of some apricot and apples. We're going to get some smoke going on it, get some flavors going, and at the very end I'm going to show you how I make up this apple and apricot glaze that's going to go over the top. Just make it beautiful. So the first thing I'm going to do for this apricot and apple glazed ham is just cut up some apples. We're going to put these in the bottom of an aluminum pan. Let's put in a few apricots. So now we're going to score the outside of the ham before we put it on those apples and apricots. And I'm just using a box cutter with a clean blade, or put a new blade in it because it controls the depth. We're just going to start on the skin and we're going to space it out. Just go all the way through, space it out about 1 inch. Then we're just going to move our knife and come back the opposite way. So it kind of makes this diamond pattern. So we're going to set our scored ham right on top of these apples and apricots. Then I've got just a little bit of apple juice I'm going to pour in here with it just to add a little extra moisture. I'd say about half a cup would be plenty. Now our ham's ready for the smoker. Now you could cook this on any kind of grill. Just hold the temp steady. You can see we're running right at 300, 275 to 300 is optimal. When we get the ham on, it'll check down just a little bit, but I'm going to add some smoke to my fire. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with good royal oak lump charcoal. So I've got some apple wood that I'm putting on here today, because we're going to be doing that apple apricot glaze. And I'm going to just scatter it out so it gets some smoke. We're going to get our ham on our Kong grill here, and I'm just going to set it right in the center. Pan's going to help protect it. Those apricots and apples are going to cook down. We've got a little moisture in there. It's going to be perfect. What we're going to do now is just keep the lid closed and watch our temp gauge. We want to hold it in that 275, 300 range. We're going to get some smoke on it for a little while, and then we're going to check our internal temperature. We need to bring it up to about 135 before we glaze. Okay, for our glaze that we're going to use on this half ham, I'm starting with the little brown sugar in a small pot. We're going to add just a little bit of apple juice. Then we're going to add our apricot preserves, some apple butter to really give it a little bit more flavor. And then we're going to just thin it down with just a touch of vinegar just to give it a little bit of acidity. We're going to kind of bring that to a slow boil, cook it down just a little bit because we want it to reduce just a little bit so it stays nice and syrupy like consistency. Then we're going to be ready to glaze this on our ham. And I'm just going to use this basting brush and just kind of get this glaze all over the top. You want it to go down in the cracks. That's what we cut those slits into it for. I know this glaze tastes delicious. I wish you could smell how it smelled on this ham too. Now we just got to get the lid closed. We're going to let this glaze sit till we get to 140. We need about another 4 degrees right now. We've done crept up one more. Hey, our ham has hit its mark, 140 degrees internal. It's time to get it off the cooker. That's all she wrote. We're going to take it inside, let it rest a little bit. I'm going to get it out of this juice, get it out of the apples and apricots. We got everything we could out of them. We're going to sit it on the cutting board and let it rest. I know it's going to be delicious. Just look at it. Okay, the ham's been resting here on the cutting board for about 10 minutes. That's all it needs. Now, if you were taking this somewhere else, of course, you could wrap it up in foil. You could hold it in a cooler. It'd stay warm for several hours. You could even refrigerate it and then warm it up the next day if you needed to. Now, my favorite part, I get to cut this ham. So I'm just going to cut some slices off the bottom here. If it's Christmas, you got to have a piece of ham, right? That is beautiful. I'm going to get a piece out right here. You know, I want to try it. I want to make sure I got some of that bark on top of it. See what we're working with. I know it's hot. I see it smoking. I'm telling y'all, you can taste that smoke on there that we put. Apple wood gave it a nice subtle flavor on top of what was already there. It's moist and juicy all the way through. That apricot glaze that we put on there adds a little bit of sweetness to the top, to that bark that we made on it. And since we made those cuts, it kind of lets it get down in there so you get some of that flavor. But this is ham worth waiting for.